about your style and give us some little tidbits there on the guitar.
Okay. Hi everyone. It's early, but well, I grew up in Belgrade, Serbia, listening to blues thanks to my dad, who's on a boat as well, somewhere with the kids running around. He got us into, listening to Elmer James, Booker White, Albert Collins, Albert King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, at a very early age. And that was the only thing that was in our house, American soul and blues, and there was nothing else in Serbian or whatever. So any European style of blues, you couldn't hear it. So I grew up listening to Delta blues and Chicago blues, Texas blues, jazzy blues, rock blues, back home in Serbia when I was just 2-3 years old, and he would encourage us to sing way before we could understand any lyrics. I probably got into blues on a much earlier age than a lot of American guitar players did, just because it was the only thing there was around in my house. And I guess that's where the freedom comes from, to experiment for me, I think, and always look for the edges of the style. And not only that, I mean, I'm really practicing the typical blues genre whenever I get a chance. My idea is you will put on 3 or 4 real roots songs on the record and do them right. And prove you can do it and get deeper with every record. And learning process is always, in my case, it's always ongoing. I'm not American, so it's for me a never-ending learning process. So do them right, and then use the rest of the record to experiment with blues, the way Ronnie Earl did with his jazzy side, the way Sonny Landreth did with that New Orleans Zydeco kind of influence, and later on he really became one of the guitar virtuosos who could play, next to any fusion guitar player, rock guitar player out there. It's very inspirational, when you get to that level. They don't necessarily have to put a blues stamp on it, but you're just an amazing guitar player with a specific tone and specific phrasing. That's very inspiring to me. At the same time, I got, of course, together with Tony Coleman, everybody knows on our last project, we went really deep into blues and soul, and I wrote a few little songs for that record that are just a slow blues, as roots as you can get, as much as Albert Collins' storytelling and Albert King, the way they used to, and a few shuffles. So that's basically about my playing. I think there are, a few different sides of my blues. I guess there's electric. I don't have any distortion here to showcase the powerful, but you've heard it all. But when it's about clean playing, I switch, pick, and hands. That's always ongoing switch that's going on the right hand for me. And when I need to do any jazzy stuff, that's always the fingers. Some said I want all the kind of love, and you look down your faith in me. That's fingers, for example, and then the pick. For all the fast stuff, I guess. Fingers too. A lot of people ask me, why do you play constantly the same guitar? This guitar is a 64 Strat, and I'm a Fender endorser for many years, and I get custom shops whenever I want it. I don't order them because, first, I'm not a collector. I think guitars should be played. And the other thing is that this guitar reacts to every emotion, every hit that's different. It just bursts out. So if I want to be subtle, you hear it. If I really hit it hard, it just responds. Versus any other guitars that I have, which is more like it's a piece of wood, and it plays no matter what you do to it, the same. And when I bought this guitar, I thought I have to return it. I can't play this. I have to tame this guitar. And it was literally, I was like, who was playing this? It's supposed to be easy, And it took me a month to really well, literally take this thing and make it do what I want it to do. But now it's really like a half of the presentation, half of playing is me. The other half is this thing. It really has a life of its own. But and it can be very subtle, sweet. Maybe another thing that's different. When I think about my style, what's special? I think I use my mistakes. You know, you play a solo and you have a line that goes, and you don't play these 5 notes. You play only 4, and you're thinking, oh, shoot, that's wrong. And I'm thinking, no, I'm going to repeat that because every line has a certain phrasing. And if you repeat it a few times, you start liking your own mistake. No, seriously, it's like, that's what I do. Well, it's not for the people. Actually, I think it's for it came out of you that way, in that phrasing.